Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the FFL Empowerment and FFL Continental Team call. As always, I am going to start with reading the leaderboard. So let's see. This week we have Jennifer C. With one application for 1,238. And let's see, Claudia C. with two applications, 1,610. Joe R. Joe, way to be consistent. You've been on here every week since your first week. We have one application for 1,776. Janine A., one application for 2,073. Chantel W. with two applications for 2,719. Lori J. with one application for 818. Chris H. with 8 applications for 7,134. And myself with 13 applications for 10,934 and one Reliance Shield. So that is a total of 30,302 with 29 applications, so 29 people protected, and that was with 8 riders. So great job, everybody who went out there this week and made it happen. And, always remember, it's a new week. So,
okay, everybody, I have got Chris, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce your last name. Chris, how do you say it?
Casarez.
We've got Chris Casarez. That was pretty good, right?
Perfect.
He is joining us today. He is a relatively new agent. He's been with Family First Life for 4 months. He is working with the Northwest group and the Strengths and Finance group. Where are you located, Chris?
Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay. Now, a lot of your team is on the West Coast. That's kind of like us because we're part of Golden State, out Dominique Rogers in California.
No, I'm all the way over here on the East Coast.
And us too. You see, we're here. A lot of us are in North Carolina, and then our vice president's in California, so we have that in common. Chris, he has his ISU paid month is about $19,000. And I met Chris at the New Jersey Rising Stars meeting, and I don't know if it happened there, but we're about to find out. But a switch flipped for Chris, and he has written $47,500 in the past 2 weeks. Plus, he's hiring. So that's why we've got him on the call. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you found Family First Life, what were you doing before, and then please go right into what you're doing and tell us about this switch and everything.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you allowing me to pour back into your team and really any team. I always love helping. So prior to this, I was in the car business for 13 years. Started off selling and worked my way up to being a general sales manager with one of the larger dealership chains in my area. And ironically, God puts you in certain places for a reason. So Shannon Womble actually used to work with me and for me at one of those dealerships, and he ended up getting involved with Family First Life. And through that, he just shot me over a Facebook inbox one day and said, hey, take a look at this. So he knows me. I'm a heavy researcher and loved what I saw. So it was kind of a no-brainer once I looked at everything and what we can accomplish and build through Family First Life. Being the vehicle was amazing to me. So I became a part of it and never really looked back since then. Finishing up month 4 currently, and as Paige said, switch has gone off for me. So through the first 3 months, I issue paid about $40,000. And in the last, really, we just finished up week 3. I've written just shy of about $60,000. So the big thing that switched for me was just changing that mindset as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. And also want to share with you guys, I have a wife and 3 kids, and I'm the only income coming in the household. It's been that way for a long time. The car business was doing about $200,000, so the wife really didn't have to work. So that's carried over into this, and that's a big portion of my why. But just refocusing on exactly what it is, I'm doing what I'm doing and what we look to accomplish when we sit with these families, because they're not just a paycheck, another payday. So schedule-wise, before I get deep into anything about in-home, schedule-wise, I run the same schedule that's preached and talked about, where Monday is dial day for me, but since I'm hiring, I generally dial from 8 to 12 in the morning, looking to book a minimum of 12 to 18 slots. I leave 9 slots in a day. I run an appointment every hour and a half due to traffic where I'm at, so I can book as many as 18 in a 2-day time span. Now, I block off in the middle of the afternoon time to work on pending business, but more importantly, when I wake up on Mondays and Fridays, I post my ads. So I reserve a time slot during the afternoon to do follow-ups and do interviews and to hire. And now what I do during the evening on Monday, being a dial day, is if I haven't filled the schedule, I go back to dialing. And if I just don't feel like being on the phone for any reason, I'll grab a stack of leads and head out on a door knock route and get some fresh air. See, all while in between that door knocking, it's FFL training, whether it be from the YouTube page or one of the many sites, my favorite one being fflnewagent.com. I'm running a training clip or a podcast in between door knocking, and on my run days being Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, in between appointments, if I'm not calling a resume, doing an interview in between appointments, I'm generally talking to one of my agents. If I'm not talking to one of my agents, I may be calling to fill the rest of my schedule if it's not plugged. And if I'm not doing either of those things, I'm listening to a training on my way to the next appointment. So Thursday, same thing. Post in the morning, the ads, dial, pending, hiring, interviewing, dial and door knocking during the evening, depending on what I feel like doing. Then I run Friday and Saturday, and I generally try to reserve Sundays for my family, of course. Got to spend time for them. There's got to be a balance there, but they know the vision that I have for this thing, and they know why I'm, running 25, 30 appointments a week and putting in the kind of work I'm putting in, because in a very short time span, I don't know if everybody on this call realizes what you can create and put together with Family First, especially when it comes to building an agency. Sky's the limit. They don't put ceilings on any of this, and that's what I saw, because from where I came from, no matter the numbers we hit, I was working 60, 80 hours a week. I could put in 90, and it wouldn't change my paycheck. But the opportunity of what we have here with Family First, the more work you put in, the more focused and concentrated work that you put in, the more you train, the more clients you sit with, the more dials you make. It all increases your income. The more people you hire and show them how to do this, it all increases your income, and that is on a monthly and a residual basis. So now, getting into what changed for me in terms of, what I've been writing weekly. The goal is $20K a month, and now I'm seeing $20K a week. It shouldn't be a problem because of the hours and hours and hours and hours of training that I've done. I seek the mentorship from Luke Bohach and Mark Mead at this point, Matt Smith, several people I reach out to, because I don't know everything. And every single clip, every podcast, everything FFL has put out, I've listened to more than once, in some clips if it was something that I loved and that I attached to because it sounded like me, or I could make it sound like me. I may have listened to 20, 30, 50 times to make sure that when it comes out of my mouth, it sounds natural. So what switched for me? Paige, did you want to say something?
I was going to say I do the same thing. I'm famous for when something is like resonating with me and I want to make it part of my in-home, I will stop it, I will say it, That didn't sound quite the same. I'll rewind it, listen to them again, pause it, say it again. And, I mean, I have spent an entire 2.5-hour drive going over stuff like that and got into, you know, the house. And I have a whole new in-home that I'm comfortable with because I just spent that entire 2.5 hours prepping it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
See,
that's strong.
I took it a step further because I had to memorize stuff. I used to do finance for the car business, and we had this whole long script we had to memorize. So when I really want to make something a part of my in-home or just, you know, want to memorize it, what I'll do is I'll actually listen to it enough, or what I've done is I'll listen to the clip. I'll literally pause it every 2-3 seconds and write down every word, and then I'll re-record it on a voice recorder on my phone, reading it in my own voice, and then listen to that on loop so I hear myself say it 50 to 100 times. So at that point, it just becomes a repetition thing that when I start to say it, even if I start to forget it, my mind will fill in the rest because I've heard myself say it 100 times.
Awesome.
So different ways to do that, but yes, just again, really, if you really sit down and, well, if you listen to what I just said in terms of the schedule, during income producing hours, I'm doing something either to produce income now or produce income in the future, being hiring with that delayed gratification, or I'm training to help increase income. It's the income producing hours have to be utilized as such. And even when I get home, my wife hates it, but I'll get home and I might train on a product, or I might, get a door knock route ready for tomorrow, you know, in between my appointments in case I get no shows. It's just that this opportunity is just, I don't think everybody takes it as serious as it truthfully is, because there is no ceiling and it's unlimited. So basically what I saw in this is that you're telling me the harder I work, the faster I'll accomplish my goals in here. No one can put a ceiling on me in terms of income that I can generate for my family now and in the future. We are being a boss to employee, being that we're a business owner, we're our own bosses. I am a tyrant of a boss to myself. I don't give myself breaks. I don't, as they say, you know, some people get comfortable with this being a, you know, independent agent, that you make your own schedule so you feel like you can do whatever whenever you want to. I feel guilty if I'm not doing something pertaining, obviously I'm not with my family, but if I'm not doing it, I can't lay around and watch a movie. I don't watch TV. I don't listen to the radio. Laying around watching a 2-hour movie, do you know how much can be done in 2 hours? How many appointments can be booked? How many interviews can happen?
And, you know, my husband was in the car business briefly, and it's you can make a lot of money in that, but it's a grueling schedule. And the only way to make a lot of money is to work very, very hard. So I have a feeling that your work ethic comes from that, plus the need. I mean, you were making a pretty good income with $200,000, and you need to replace that and do better than. So I'm sure that is a driving factor for you, for your family, you know.
Yeah, but Paige, even in that, even with what I was making, there was literally a cap built into my pay plan. I could not make over a certain amount of money. They capped me. So no matter how well I did, no matter how many multiple millions that I helped generate for the dealership, and I did, there was a cap for me. Didn't matter the hours, didn't matter the numbers.
Right.
So get back on track in sense of what's changed for me in the in-home. So lead-wise, I do a mix. I am, at this point, heavier on the mortgage side than the final expense side. So what's changed for me the biggest is going through that financial inventory. That is so important. And if obviously we all get into this thing for the money. The money is great. It's amazing. Okay. But I've refocused when I go sit with a client or clients. Okay. It's 100% about them. I utilize that financial inventory to completely pick apart their situation and give everybody sitting at the table an exact picture of if he or she or both were to die tomorrow or next week, what does the financial situation look like for the leftover spouse or the adult child or whoever has to take care of it. Okay, and as long as I make sure that I custom tailor a plan and I dig deep on the financial inventory and I custom tailor a plan to them for their needs and not focus on how much the AP is, okay, they're going to choose if it makes sense. So what I do on the financial inventory is I dig really deep on the finances because it's easy to find premium there. I'll tell you it's very easy to show $300, $400, $500, and $600 a month premiums if you've done your financial inventory right and uncovered money that's already in their budget. So instead of them having to increase and add another bill, if you build that rapport and they see that you are sitting there and you are there to help them truthfully, okay, they'll open up to you and answer every question you have to ask. So you can find $500 free dollars in their current budget that they may not have even realized was there until the proper questions were asked. It's very easy for them to sign up for a $400 or a $500 or maybe even a $600 payment. Or really on a lot of the programs that we provide are savings plan if we're talking about a cashback or a deal or an IUL with those kind of premiums. It's very easy for them to pick that and it not be stressful and you not have to worry about a chargeback because you've left the home and haven't increased their budget, but walked out with them having their family fully protected and you walking out with $5,000 or $6,000 AP.
And Chris, would you go into a little bit more depth of like where you find the premium?
Absolutely. I had that noted down for you. So when talking about the mortgage, so when you get into the mortgage balance, right, that question of are you paying anything additional above and beyond the mortgage to pay it off aggressively? If so, how much? Or they may just tell you immediately. So that's one spot. Second spot is that I'll ask them, are you guys currently saving anything monthly right now? You setting aside anything? And when they kind of hesitate, I may interject and say, $200, $300, $400, $500, anything. I'm going to tell you, they always say a number, especially if I kind of feed it to them. Because there's always excess left in a budget. People are very protective, and of course, we're a stranger in their house. They've known us for all of 10 minutes, right? So, but again, if you set the stage correctly and they trust you, they'll tell you these things. And let me see here. Now, whether they're investing in a 401k or a TSP or whatever it is, I ask them, it's important to know how much above the match. Ask them if they're investing, in a 401k or a TSP. Ask them how much above and beyond what their company is matching are they putting in. Or just another way to ask is, what does your company match up to? And they'll tell you 3, 4, 5%, whatever it is. And I'll ask them, so you going above and beyond that? Where you doing 8%, 10%? How much are you putting in there? And so by that point, you should have already gotten the income, what they're bringing in monthly. So if they say the company's matching 3%, but they're putting in 8%, it's very easy to do the math of whatever their current income is times 5%, and there you go. Might have found another $100, $200 there.
Love it.
Because if they're doing that with a 401k, they're doing that with a 401k, that additional 5% or the 100 or the 150 they're throwing in the market, and they probably will be for the next 20, 30 years, is subject to loss. And it's very easy to paint that picture for them. I just say, hey, listen, free money is the best money, as Matt Smith has trained on in several people. So you want to, if it's 3%, say, hey, 3%, put it in there because, again, that's free money. But that additional 5%, they just put that in the stock market and invest for you. And I ask them, the stock market can go up and it can go, and I kind of lead them on. They say down. I let them go ahead and say it. So then I tell them, okay, and I'll circle that dollar figure and say, okay, so this is kind of what I'm getting at when I said I'd ask you guys a lot about the finances and show you how to repurpose or reallocate some of that money. I'll show you how to put those funds in a better spot. But let's go ahead and keep moving through these questions real quick so we can get to, and I just progress from there. I don't sit on it. I'm finding money. Now, if I see that and some of the clients, if the rapport is there and if they're going through all the questions with me, I will look them dead in their face and ask them how much do they have in the bank. Checking, savings, ballpark. And a lot of times they'll just tell me, or if they kind of hesitate, even for a brief second, I'll say, listen, this is all going into, again, like I said, I'm just going to get an idea of your all situation and paint your picture for you. I need to know what kind of liquid funds are immediately accessible to your beneficiary if something happens to you tomorrow. I need to know what they can get to, because some of the assets you have will have to go through probate and they won't be able to be touched for a while. So whatever they have in the bank isn't so much for me. It doesn't really do anything for finding money as far as AP. It helps me, again, paint that picture in the end for them. I don't know what they want to accomplish with that death benefit. I don't know if we're just looking to do burial or if we're looking to cover the home. It's different with every client. But like a client I just sat with yesterday, still owed $150,000 on the house, just shy of $20,000 on one of her cars and $10,000 on another credit card, and they had nothing in terms of savings, $2,000. And he was about 85-90% of the household income. So then I can make a professional recommendation as to how much coverage they need. Now, if they had $50,000 in the bank versus $3,000, and I knew that, then my recommendation might change. So that's why I asked about what's readily available in the bank. Because I really do want to set them up with a program that they know if that happens, we've already talked about their step-by-step as to what money goes where.
Right.
So other than that, the last place, and if I see that they don't have a significant savings, they don't have any lump sum assets, and maybe they're not setting aside, a bunch of months, I'll ask them flat out, what are you doing? What are you setting aside, or what are you currently doing to try to set up a retirement for yourself? Because I know you don't want to work forever, right? Because if they don't have any kind of savings lined up, any kind of lump sum assets, they will be working for the rest of their life. So that question right there opens the door for me to structure an IUL for them and hopefully give some relief to where that they can retire at some point if I show them a proper way to invest in one to hopefully near match the income they have coming in so they can at some point stop clocking in. So that's just
so Chris, that makes a lot of sense. And if I could ask you, so you're running mostly mortgage. What would you say is the product that you write the most?
It's going to be HMS or term life expressed with mutual. Just depends on the health situation.
Okay. And when do you decide to pivot to an IUL?
IUL is always supplemental. For me, that's not a primary sale. And that's because of, if we can all be honest, cash flow. Right? You want to make sure with Writing America, excuse me, I'm in my garage. I'm getting a little hot, so hold on. So with the Americo's product and with Mutual, obviously with those instant approvals online, we get paid in days. Now, IUL is always, for me, I structure that as a future product for them. I talk about the HMS product and, Term Life Express product as the right now immediate solution to their problems. And we more look at the IUL as really a retirement vehicle, whether we structure it for accumulation or
when it's appropriate, you're doing both. You come back IUL as an additional policy after you've already taken care of mortgage protection.
Correct.
Okay. That's perfect, because I was just speaking to a couple agents about the HMS and Term Life Express versus an IUL. So thank you for the clarification.
So on the IUL, even with the fast lane, it still takes about a week to get paid on. They got to go fully underwritten. You might not see it for a month and a half.
Okay.
So, in terms of process and pay, and it's not going to be. So the way I look at it, too, is doing the client an injustice, because if we got to go fully underwritten and something happens to them in that month or month and a half, then I didn't do my job properly.
That makes sense. So in this next last minute or two, what would you say to, just as final tips and advice for our growing team?
Start building now. And you have to, I post my ads twice a week in 4 different cities. Okay. Going to the Rising Stars with Paige, Mark Mead talked about figuring out the formula hiring to scale. So he said out of 10 people that you hire, 5 will get moving, 3 will eventually end up writing business, and 1 will become a business partner. So if you are to grow this thing aggressively, okay, and you want to, bring on 20 agents a month, then you really have to be interviewing at a level of 50 to 60 interviews a week. And you have to build it into your schedule or work it into your schedule to do so. Because the reason why I got into this wasn't for the sales. It was to build an agency. So I look at the fact that the average agent is writing $7,500 for every 10 agents I can bring on, monthly AP. For every 10 agents I can bring on, I'm essentially bringing on, even at a 10% override, $7,500 of override income a month that I don't have to go essentially work for in terms of run appointments. And now that income is also, again, residual, and the team will continue to grow. Even if something happens to me, that doesn't mean my agents are going to completely stop working. So that ever-growing monthly residual income is something I can leave my wife and kids. And my goal really is to be at $500,000 by the end of the year or by the first quarter of the next year of team production volume.
Strong goals. One last question. Where are you advertising to hire?
100% Craigslist.
Okay.
And it doesn't.
And how many interviews are you scheduling a week from that?
On average, I talk to about 15 to 20 people a week because I am running so hard in the field. But I do have, so currently right now, I have a couple over 30 agents, a lot of which that are in school. Just picked up a couple licensed folks. I had a situation, I don't know if you saw the interview, but anyway, they had somebody very close to my family pass here recently, and it kind of put me on my heels for a couple of weeks. So took a little bit to get back, and so I'm now back posting and hiring and doing what I was doing. So Craigslist, because cost-effective wise, it's $20, $25, $35 to post an ad. And if you can get 1 or 2 agents out of that, you can't beat it.
Absolutely.
So now for those who have the funds for a ZipRecruiter and things along those lines. It's just like leads. You can never really have enough leads. Now, you can have too much in the sense of you can't work them fast enough by yourself weekly. But sources for hiring, it's just like leads. The more sources you have, the more people you talk to, the more people you end up hiring, because we don't hire everybody, just like we don't sell everybody we sit with or even see everybody we book. So it's going to be the same on the building side. So either side, you need the volume. You need the numbers.
Yep. Oh, Chris, this is good stuff. I tell you what, this is so good. We're going to need to have you back and keep talking more, okay? I wish our call was longer, but we try to be respectful because, we know Friday's a run day, so we don't want to take too much of – hopefully this is during our team's drive time to their appointments. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and giving to our team. And please let us know if we can ever do anything for you. I'm sure this is going to be very, very beneficial. I've gotten a whole page of notes, so I know it's helping me, and I think it'll help a whole lot of us. So thank you so much, Chris, and I definitely am going to be calling you. We'll do a part 2 here soon.
Sounds good. I always like helping.
Very good. All right. Well, everybody go make it a great week. Bye-bye.